Welcome into the San Francisco 49ers Report right here on Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr., and no matter where you are, how you're tuned in, we appreciate you for making today's show a part of your day. On the docket, a new Nick Bosa update from both Jeremy Fowler and Ian Rapoport. Some interesting stuff that both NFL insiders had to pass along. But look, the reason that we're talking about this right now, it's August 28th. The regular season is less than 2 weeks away. Nick Bosa still has not signed. So what's the holdup? What's going on? The good news is we have you covered right here on the show. First, though, make sure you subscribe because when Bosa does put pen to paper, we're going to talk about it right here on the Niners Report. You see the numbers here to my right. We're approaching 84,000 subscribers. Be a part of the faithful family that helps us reach that milestone by hitting that subscribe button. And I promise you, you won't regret it because then you get daily free content on the Niners every single day. So on the Nick Bosa front, we have been obviously talking about this for a really long time here with Bosa, and there's a couple of updates that I want to pass along from Jeremy Fowler, Ian Rapoport, as to why he hasn't signed yet, but also some of the holdups that are taking place and why this seems to be such a confounding, confusing, and complex situation here. So Jeremy Fowler on Bosa, a little bit more optimism here with his contract with the 49ers because teams I've talked to expect him to put up a massive number, somewhere around $30+ million per year. Bosa is considered the best pass rusher in the NFL. The 49ers have prioritized that. They know that. They want to get this done. It's just a deal of this magnitude with a lot of nuances about it. The structure, the amount of years, there's a lot to sort out, so still some time here. Now, a lot of you might see that last line, still some time here, and you're also going to see that from Ian Rapoport, and you're going to say, there's not a lot of time. The 49ers open up the season on September 10th. That is 13 days away from this recording when this show is taking place on Monday. And Nick Bosa has to get into football shape, right? A lot of you, when I've said this before, have said, Chase, Nick Bosa is a physical freak. He's going to report to the Niners in peak conditioning. He is, and he's going to come to camp in really good shape. But being in football shape only happens, in my opinion, by playing football. When you try to get off the line with that explosive first step that Bosa has, those are some fast twitch muscles in a game environment that Bosa hasn't really accessed in a really long time. And if a soft tissue injury happens, I'm concerned because that means that he could be out for a couple of weeks. And if Nick Bosa is out for a couple of weeks, this defense is not the same unit. The Niners can't be dumb here. And this is why I don't understand. You knew you had to pay him all this money. So what is the holdup? Just give him his money. There are too many weird vibes around this team right now after the Trey Lance debacle. And I don't think that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch handled this in a good manner. So San Francisco badly needs some good news for this organization and some good vibes back in that locker room to get their leader back, the guy who addresses this team every single Saturday prior to a Sunday brawl. And when Nick Bosa is signed, I think it's going to be a sense of relief for everybody, and the good vibes will be flowing to a certain degree. And San Francisco just needs that to happen because this awkwardness has been lingering for a really long time. And I think some players are looking around and they're like, man, we need some good stuff to happen because this weird drama that's been transpiring here and festering for a long while, sometimes that can affect the team, and sometimes that can derail a team. And this is a team with Super Bowl aspirations. Now, I did tweet this out on my Twitter page back a couple of days ago. This was on Friday in the lead up to that Chargers preseason finale. And I was just sitting on my couch, kicking it. And sometimes these talking points come to mind. And I said, John Lynch has said multiple times that Nick Bosa was, quote, budgeted for. San Francisco knew that he was going to demand a bigger contract than Aaron Donald. So what's the holdup? If San Francisco knew that he was going to make this much money, especially after he won Defensive Player of the Year, and John Lynch even said, we have him budgeted for, then what was the holdup? These were some of the good replies that I got, both from a joking manner, but from a talking point perspective as well. 49ers faithful forever said the number 4 him being number 4 on that top 100 players list in the NFL pushes it over the limit. So I appreciate the joke there. It's like, yeah, San Francisco's like, oh, you were named number 4 on the top 100 players. Not sure we can afford you now. Rich Madrid, who is a content creator, he said Parag, who's a member of this front office, of course, and he's a stickler when it comes to these financial situations. That could be a viable answer. The RFL show, maybe it's the signing bonus. He may want a higher bonus while the Niners want the flexibility to move the cap hits around to retain other players like Brandon Ayuk, and some financial gymnastics might have to be done in this Bosa deal considering the length of it and the amount of money at play. So that's not a bad point of discussion either. Dustin Duckett, Chris Jones's holdout is definitely a part of it. This is pretty interesting here because Chris Jones might be wanting to get paid more than Aaron Donald. They're both defensive tackles. Aaron Donald making $31.5 million. That's the richest contract for a defensive player in the history of football. And what if Bosa were to sign his deal? And part of him waiting was him wanting to become the highest paid defender ever. And he could only say that for like 24 hours until the Chiefs brought back Chris Jones. And then he unseats Nick Bosa as the highest paid defensive player of all time. Maybe Bosa wants to wait this out so that he knows he goes down in history as the highest paid defensive player ever, not just the highest paid edge rusher in the NFL right now. So with that, we tee up our poll question for today's show. Will Bosa be on the field week 1 against Pittsburgh? Give me an on or off. Let me know in the comment section right now. Speaking of that week 1 game, we look ahead to it. This line, for all the betting aficionados out there, it is as fishy as it gets. -2.5, that spells trouble. And I've said here on the show, Pittsburgh Steelers are a formidable opponent. George Pickens is a dog. Kenny Pickett is one of my candidates who can really break out going into year 2. That offensive line is much improved. They have good skill position players. Their defense is pretty good, led by TJ Watt. Mike Tomlin's going to have them ready to play, and you're playing on the road with the quarterback who hasn't played a real game since the NFC Championship game, and all of these aforementioned weird vibes that I'm talking about. The over-under also pretty low at 41. The odds makers think that this could be a low-scoring game. If you want to bet on this game, no better place to do it than with our sportsbook partner, BetUS. They're offering a 125% deposit bonus. All you have to do for that deal to apply to your account, plug in that link below me, chatsports.com/49bet, promo code Niners125. You put in $100, you get $125 back. That's $225 to game with the NFL season quickly approaching around the corner. So from Jeremy Fowler saying there's some optimism to the pessimistic maybe approach from Ian Rapoport. He was on the Pat McAfee show and doesn't sound so sure when it comes down to a Bosa extension. Here's what Rap Sheet had to say. I don't get the sense that they're close at all. It sounds like there's been some level of conversation. I know this probably doesn't make anyone feel better, but there is still a lot of time. Bosa, I'm sure, keeps himself in unbelievable shape. There's not going to be much of an acclimation period. Even if he shows up 5 days from now, I'm sure he'll be ready for the season. He's going to make a lot of money. If he signs a deal, he's going to be the highest paid edge rusher in the NFL. I feel very confident in that, and he should be. How high does it get? Does he get Aaron Donald money? Highest paid non-QB? I do know this, he added. The 49ers offer is substantial. So that's an important note. The 49ers have offered Nick Bosa a deal. It's just up to Bosa, according to Rap Sheet, to accept that deal. And you look at the highest paid edge rushers here per year, and I think that Bosa can certainly overtake TJ Watt to be the number 1 highest paid edge rusher, but Nick Bosa probably wants to become the highest paid defender ever. And there are things and nuances in that deal that aren't as malleable as you might think, right? In getting a deal done. Guaranteed money, years, signing bonus, average annual value, guaranteed money. All of those things can come into play, but when you look at this list, is Nick Bosa better than all of these players? TJ Watt, Joey Bosa, Myles Garrett, Khalil Mack, Max Crosby. For sure, in my opinion, Bosa's better than them, slightly above Myles Garrett, who I think is second best. And then Bradley Chubb, Von Miller, Cameron Jordan, Harold Landry, and Shaq Barrett. Those are the remaining players on that list. And who would you take? Bosa, TJ Watt? I'm going Bosa. So I think he gets a higher average annual value than any player on this list. But this is the contract that we want to focus in on here. This is the deal for Aaron Donald that Bosa is looking to put in the rear view so that Aaron Donald is no longer the highest paid defender ever. And instead, it's Nick Bosa who's the highest paid non-quarterback in the history of football. 3 years, $95 million, average annual value 31.6, guaranteed money 95. I have come up with Nick Bosa contract projections in the past, and my original projection was somewhere in this range, and now, as time continues to wear on, I think that Bosa could literally be between 32 and 35 million potentially. Now, that does sound like a lot of money, of course, but keep in mind here that the NFL salary cap is going to continue to increase. So if Bosa continues to stay healthy, stay on the field, and stay productive, then that deal isn't going to look as bad down the road as it might right now upon signing that deal and the freshness of it. So with that, our final question of the show here. Who will get paid more? Nick Bosa, Aaron Donald? Type NB for Bosa, AD for Donald. Let me know once more down in the comment section. Appreciate all of you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to the show.